Yo, 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 Big Catch back up in here. We got rappers. Damn. My bad. I'm talking too fast. We got rapperholics bringing us this marvelous breakdown on the Joey Badass situation when he dissed Kendrick Lamar, among some other things. But we about to check out this breakdown, y'all. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Water.
Sensational.
Earth. Fire. Air. 4 nations lived together in harmony.
Anita Max win.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all 4 elements, could stop them. When the world needed him most, he vanished.
I guess this some anime stuff right here.
Yo, I'm at the point, even if y'all say Drake ain't win, I'm rooting for any nigga that could Kendrick up. I'm tired of this.
Oh.
He got rappers sounding like
Happy New Year, family and friends. We are not even 2 days into 2025, and Kendrick is already back on the clock. But this time, he won't be bringing those boogeyman beatdowns to the Canadian coast. Instead, he'll be channeling one of his greatest.
What y'all think Kendrick said when he heard the Joey Badass diss? What y'all think he said, man?
Inspirations, Tupac Shakur reincarnating the infamous West Coast versus East Coast beef. Now, I'm partially kidding because in reality, I don't think Kendrick Lamar has to respond to this. And that's for 2 reasons. Number 1, this wasn't that serious of a shot, and it wasn't just a shot at Kendrick. And number 2, as great of a rapper as Joey Badass is, it's not that serious of competition for Kendrick. And again, not because he's a bad rapper by any means necessary. We're going to delve into why Kendrick doesn't need to respond to this and why it wasn't that serious of a shot by Joey. But of course, most importantly, we're going to be breaking down every bar that could be a shot in this song and why none of it is worth responding to if you're in Kendrick Lamar's position. But just so we're clear, this definitely was a shot. Don't get it confused for a second. Yes, this was a F the whole West Coast. Yes, this was a I feel like I'm overlooked, so I'm bringing some more competitive energy. But this was just as much of a direct like, hey buddy, I've been swinging at you for a while, so let me be as clear as possible here. I want all the smoke. So let's break this new song down first and all the bars for Kendrick and the West Coast that came with it. Now, I had a lot of these bars broken down for you guys. I've been sick for the last few days, so I've just been bumping this repeatedly. And I had some notes on everything, a couple of things that I came across, but then I came across this Twitter thread that was cooking like a Michelin chef. So we're going to break down this guy's breakdown. I'm going to leave.
I got to get on Twitter, man. Twitter's the spot. I don't know. It's just too much behavior up there, man.
His Twitter in the description of this video. Highly request that you guys follow him because he did great work here, but also because just like me, this guy has under 35 followers on Twitter. Now, his username is...
Let me pause that for y'all. For everybody that's on Twitter, run these up. I ain't got Twitter, though. I miscounted, but close to 35. These both we deserve.
Is DeJesus LV Dawn. Matter of fact, follow us both. I'm going to leave my Twitter in the description too. Let's see if you guys can bring both of us to 100 followers on Twitter. That would be blessed. So let's get into it. Firstly, if you were doubting for a second that Joey is speaking directly to Kendrick here, it definitely wasn't like a malicious diss like F you, but it was definitely a hey, let's squabble up. I mean, you could tell right off the bat. Look at the visuals of this thing, right? Like he's doing this dance where he's kind of leaning back, surfing in midair. Who else have you seen do this dance? That's right, you saw Kendrick Lamar do it at the pop-out as he was performing Not Like Us. And ironically, Kendrick was imitating his opponent, the guy who he threw shots at, Drake, who did this same exact dance in his Hotline Bling music video. Some dancing inception going on here, and let me know who you think hit this dance.
Drake was humping the air. Drake was humping the air. He a fan.
Hit this dance the best. Now, firstly, this song is called The Ruler's Back, which is an ode to Jay-Z, and Joey pays several different tributes to Jay-Z throughout this record, and the title referencing the intro track to Jay-Z's classic album, The Blueprint. Now, on the Blueprint's track list, the song The Ruler's Back is followed up by the next song, Takeover, which, as you guys probably know, is Jay-Z's diss song against Nas. So is this Joey's way to tell us that the next song coming after his The Ruler's Back will be a full-on diss song as well? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but another little Easter egg that this Twitter user noticed was that Jay-Z got the title The Ruler's Back from Slick Rick's song, The Ruler's Back, and on Slick Rick's version, he rapped, and hold on because the driver of the mission is a pro. The rap collective that Joey Badass came up under was called Pro Era. R.I.P. Capital Steez. So Joey's declaring himself king of New York, challenging the entire West Coast, sending these little warning shots on a song called The Ruler's Back, a song bearing the same title as the Jay-Z song that came right before Takeover, his diss track against a rap titan, and paying homage to a Slick Rick song where he declares that the driver of the mission is a pro. So maybe this is Joey saying that he's in the driver's seat, steering New York back to the top of the hip-hop throne, and the mission to kill the West Coast will be conducted by none other than the pro era member himself. Then he points out that Joey begins his set of shots at Kendrick by combating Kendrick's self-proclaimed title as Mr. Get Off. On Squabble Up, Kendrick rapped Mr. Get Off, I get off and mop feet, and on The Ruler's Back, Joey rapped Mr. Really Put That On, they be counterfeit. So if Kendrick's Mr. Get Off, Joey is Mr. Really Put That On. Probably a reference to him really putting on for the East Coast. Then Joey flips Kendrick's Whacked Out Murals record by rapping, I got murals in my city, F a nomination, this for every time they left me out the conversation. And this is a big theme within Joey's entire career, really. We're going to touch on this later in the video, but in the meantime, him rapping F a nomination is similar to Drake rapping Kendrick opened his mouth, someone go hand him a Grammy right now. I don't believe Joey has ever won a Grammy. Meanwhile, Kendrick's out here winning Pulitzer Prizes, and Joey's saying like, I put on for my city, I have murals out here, they love me out here, the love here trumps any sort of nomination, any sort of award I could get from the industry. And J. Cole had similar thoughts on his diss track against Kendrick Lamar's 7-Minute Drill when he rapped F the Grammys cause those Ritz crackers ain't ever done nothing for me. And in terms of Joey being left out of the conversation, it's funny because on his recent album 2000, he rapped Who the Best MCs? Kenny, Joey, and Cole, the Holy Trinity. He's shown love to Kendrick for a long time.
I feel like Kendrick represents authenticity. There's a long list of, the great things that he represents. I appreciate him for being a part of this rap game, a part of hip hop history, because before we had him, we was really in a critical condition. I've been a fan since 15. I'm like,
I don't think that the shots that Joey Badass is sending at Kendrick is on some real street beef type shit. I really think it's just pure hip hop for real, just to clear that up.
Like one of those fans that's like, now the whole world want to get up on him. Like, y'all niggas is late. It's also different for me because now I'm one of the best rappers in the world myself. It's competition.
He's been appreciating and recognizing Kendrick's talent for a while now. They came up around the same era too. And that's a big reason why I believe this is not something Kendrick needs to respond to, but we're going to touch on that later. In the meantime, side note, it's funny that he didn't put Drake in that big three when he mentioned him, Kendrick, and Cole. But while Joey has definitely shown love to both Kendrick and Cole, he's also thrown shots at both of them since the beginning of his career, always maintaining that competitive spirit. On his song Illuminati, he rapped, what, you're trying to be Vito? Well, there's rules to this stuff. Don't get clapped. Y'all ain't real spitters, y'all lips chapped. Better watch it, Mr. Nice Watch, don't risk that. Here he's talking about how J. Cole wanted to be like his mentor Jay-Z, aka Jovito, and referencing Cole and Jay's song together called Mr. Nice Watch. That song dates back to 2011, so that should let you know how long Joey has been pulling these rappers' cards, alright? He's nothing to play with. Now, that was Illuminati Part 1, but what's funny is on Illuminati Part 2, that was the first time Joey actually confronted Kendrick Lamar, as he was one of the many rappers that responded to Kendrick's Control verse way back in 2013. And just like Joey rapping in 2024 on this record saying, I got murals in my city, F a nomination, this for every time they left me out the conversation, he was most definitely left out that 2013 conversation when Kendrick Lamar name dropped every rapper in the game who he thought was doing their thing, he thought was leading the new generation, basically saying, not necessarily F them all, but when you think hip-hop, when you think this new school, I want to undoubtedly be at the top of that list. He named Drake, J. Cole, Pusha T, A$AP Rocky, Mac Miller, and a lot more, but most notably, Kendrick left Joey Badass off that list, a young Joey who had just released, in my opinion, his classic project 1999, and Joey most definitely felt overlooked back then and also took a bit of offense to Kendrick declaring himself the king of New York on that Control verse, as on Illuminati Part 2 Joey rapped, and I'm still a beast with these flows, feeling real low, my tree self-esteem roll, we drowning out Atlantis, can't overflow Beast Coast, be more specific next time you shouting out amigo.
What was this on?
Go, I am not the star, in fact I'm planet awe. F what the media write, this is a fire bar. Please don't leave your comment if you are not up to par. No names, putting you in a verse, that's too far. Your mundane can't obtain the knowledge of my brain. My set told me light you up, so this is that propane. It's Nathan, all I gotta do is just spit a flame. No escaping you in a swimming pool of champagne, which is obviously in reference to Kendrick's track Swimming Pools. Then he rapped, you set yourself up for that one, Maine. The King of New York, ha. We're not gonna let that one hang. Last guy got dethroned and you ain't even from my zone. The rest of the real guys is dead and gone. So obviously Joey was ready for the smoke back then, but ironically a couple of years later he did
and he had that raspy voice with it.
A freestyle over Kendrick and J-Rock song King's Dead, where he rapped, you guys worried about the crown, F it, you can tell them clowns, they can keep it. Seemingly not too concerned about obtaining that spot amongst hip-hop royalty, but in 2024, or matter of fact 2025, Joey's coming with way different energy. So on this new track, The Ruler's Back, Joey also raps, I'm back by popular demand and world domination, I'm finna bomb on guys' plans, fresh off my vacation, I'm on full attack, East Coast guy till I die, it's clear who the heir, apparent king of NY. Basically saying like, it's clear who's next up as the king of New York. And what this guy on Twitter noted is that in The Ruler's Back, Joey is making reference to World Domination, which is a track off his 1999 album called World Domination, and on that track he rapped, till I draw enough static in my somatic anatomy and come out imputed with fusions of blueprints and illmatics. Definitely a goat with his wordplay, and on this new song, The Ruler's
That's some good wordplay right there. That's some good wordplay right there.
Back, he's referencing both those albums, The Blueprint and Illmatic. Then Joey continues to rap, too much West Coast D-licking, I'm hearing guys throwing rocks, really? Ain't stuff sticking. Because if we're talking bar for bar, really it's slim pickings. Obviously, too much West Coast D-licking is in reference to the massive year that the West Coast
I look like I draw pentagrams and drink chickens. What did that bar mean? I look like I draw pentagrams and kill chickens. What is that?
Had, most notably from Kendrick and Tyler, the Creator, and all the love and attention that Kendrick has put onto the West Coast. 2024 definitely felt like the year of highlighting West Coast talent. And what's interesting is that after Tyler released his latest project, Chromacopia, where he declared himself the biggest in the West after Kendrick, many people were debating if he had now replaced J. Cole in that big three conversation. Joey Badass here raps that nothing's sticking. Tyler on Chromacopia had a song called Sticky. J. Cole, who also threw stones and hit his hand, rapped on that song where he threw stones and then hit his hand, 7-minute drill, saying, fly pebbles at your dome, we the Stone Temple pilots. So Joey rapping, I'm hearing guys throwing rocks, really ain't stuff sticking.
So Joey was getting deep in that joint. Pause. He was going in. I don't know these young dudes' music like that, man. You know me, I'm old school. You know what I'm saying? I'm old.
Sticking could be a reference to both Tyler and J. Cole, but also obviously a reference to Kendrick, who threw stones early in the year in 2024 at the entire Big Three, and as a result, won the battle against Drake, which resultingly caused a lot of the quote-unquote West Coast D-licking to later ensue that Joey is talking about. This bar is also another reference to Jay-Z, because on Jay-Z's song 22 Twos, he rapped, too much West Coast D-licking and too many guys on a mission doing your best Jay-Z rendition. And this obviously came at a time when the West Coast was on a generational run. You had Tupac dropping like 3 albums that year. Obviously, you had Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg giving us back-to-back classics.
Bro, Pac was a hard worker in that studio, bro. I'm talking about it. You can actually see his notepad. It ain't no question if Pac wrote his stuff, and they ain't never been no question. You actually, matter of fact, when you go to the museum in D.C., they got notepads of rap artists in there, in the glass. Like, people actually wrote their stuff. It wasn't no question like it is nowadays. Nowadays, man, people got to be questioning all that stuff. Chat GPT and all this bullshit.
With Doggy Style and The Chronic. Ice Cube was on his run. So the West was obviously on a generational run, and Jay-Z was there to combat it. Just like Joey's trying to do now to put his hometown back on the map.
The East Coast don't love Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Y'all don't love us.
And I think I was still in my mother's womb when that song first came out, but you guys let me know in the comments how the sentiment was in hip-hop when Jay-Z rapped those bars. But obviously he showed improved, and hopefully Joey does the same. Anyways, Joey continues to rap, "This that black Air Force energy coming out from your speaker. I'm out your reach, your arms too short to box the Elohim." And here he's obviously talking to Kendrick, but making reference to a couple different things. That black Air Force energy that he's talking about is probably a reference to the cover art of Kendrick's single Watch the Party Die, which featured a picture of dusty black Air Force Ones, which were likely meant to represent him stomping out Drake and everything negative that Drake embodied, and he was now reflecting on watching the party, the essence of what Drake represented, die. Joey here is saying he's coming with that same black Air Force One energy, but he's saying that Kendrick's arms are too short to box with him. The Elohim that Joey refers to himself as is another callback to Kendrick, who's called himself the Elohim multiple times, most notably on his diss record against Drake, 616 in LA, where he raps, "The Elohim KTW, no you can't sleep, these images trouble you." And if you guys know what he was talking about when he said the KTW, let me know in the comments. I think that's still...
They say Kendrick the Warrior.
Up for debate to this day. Just to emphasize how many little Easter eggs were in those Kendrick disses. We're still trying to decode them months later. And that whole bar that Joey rapped, "I'm out your reach, your arms too short to box the Elohim," is also a callback to both Nas and J. Cole, as on Nas's album Stillmatic, he had a song called "You're the Man," where he rapped, "Your arms too short to box with the God." This was the same album that featured
"I don't kill soloists, only kill squads. Fame went to their head. So now Nas, yesterday you begged for a deal, today you tough guys. Yo, you're the man." That's my joint.
his diss track against Jay-Z, Ether. So it's cool that Joey referenced both Jay-Z and Nas's diss tracks and the albums they were featured on, but he's also referencing J. Cole, as on J. Cole's diss track against Kendrick, Might Delete Later, he also rapped, "Your arms might be too short to box with the God." And this Elohim bar is not the only reference Joey Badass makes to Kendrick's 616.
Hey, look, this is a beautiful breakdown, man. I want to encourage y'all to go watch it on your own. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go subscribe to Rapaholics. I will leave a link in the description. Y'all let me know what y'all think, what we seen so far. Cause that, hey, I ain't even touched the surface when we did the breakdown. I ain't even scratched the surface of the joint. He got some joints up in there. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.